Before Aldrich Valen was known, he was barely seen. The army found him on the edge of a muddy encampment, thin as a fence post and quieter than the dawn. A knight told him to stand up. He stood with his hands at his sides, as if waiting for judgment he believed he deserved. He was 16. No family name followed him. No papers marked his birth. When asked,
"To whom do you belong, boy?
No one.
Can you work?
Yes,
Can you fight?
I can learn.
Good enough for me."
Sir Garrick Thorne, a knight hardened by decades of war, studied the boy longer than necessary. He saw the scars on Aldrich's hands, the stiffness in his posture, the way hunger had not broken his discipline. Aldrich became a squire without ceremony. No feast, no witnesses,
Welcome
just a
to
broom
hell.
placed in his hands and a leather armor for him to wear. He slept near the horses, ate after everyone else, and learned quickly that mistakes were paid for in bruises. He did not complain. Days began before sunrise. He polished steel until he could see his reflection clearly enough to recognize himself. He ran messages across the camp, carried water, cleaned wounds, and listened. Aldrich learned the habits of soldiers, the language of fatigue, the unspoken rules that governed survival. Sir Garrick did not coddle him. Knighthood isn't given, the veteran knight said once, watching Aldrich struggle beneath a pack twice his weight. Aldrich endured. He trained at night when others slept, practicing with a dull blade until his arms trembled. He studied formations by firelight, memorizing how men moved. When fear set in, when battles came, he stayed close to Garrick's side, not fighting, but watching, learning when to advance, when to hold, when to withdraw. Once, during a skirmish gone wrong, Garrick was thrown from his horse. Aldrich did not think. He dragged the knight to safety beneath a rain of arrows, shielding him with his own body. Afterward, Garrick said nothing. A week after, Aldrich was given a better sword. Years passed in mud and blood. Aldrich grew broader, stronger, steadier. While other squires mocked his silence, courage. Some called him farm boy, others called him nothing at all. He answered to none of it. When Garrick fell in battle, struck down, while holding a retreat, Aldrich stood over his body until the fighting ended. He carried the knight's sword back to camp himself, cleaned it and placed it upon the pyre with steady hands. That night, Aldrich did not sleep. The moon reached its peak. It only burned hotter. Flames devoured the knight's camp, tents collapsing into cinders as steel rang against steel. Screams were swallowed by smoke. Aldrich barely heard any of it anymore. The world had narrowed to breath, pain, and the weight of the sword in his hands. He fought from left to the right. Next was the barbarian leader lay beneath him, huge even in death's shadow, red hair matted with blood, chest rising once, then stalling. The enemy's sword slipped from numb fingers and fell into the mud with a dull final sound. Aldrich knelt, his hands trembled, not from weakness, but from what he knew must be done, for a heart beat his eyes. Met the barbarians. The next morning, a captain approached him. "You fought like a knight yesterday." Aldrich bowed his head. "I did what was required." The captain studied him. "Do you have a name?" "Aldrich," he said. Then, after a moment, Valen.
Aldrich. Aldrich
It was the
Valen.
first time he spoke it aloud, when the sword was placed in his hands and the oath spoken. There were no cheers. No family watched. No banners bore his sigil. Yet as Aldrich knelt, something settled into place. He was still nameless to the court, still invisible to nobles, But among soldiers his presence carried weight, and in silence the strongest oaths were forming. The world would come to know Aldrich Valory, the King's Blade. But long before that he was simply a boy who endured long enough to be seen.